The book is called Almost Midnight, and it goes into great detail about the facts of a triple murder case. Many people here will remember it because the killer was sentenced to death, but saved by the Pope. Our story begins tonight with the detectives walking us to the crime scene. It was a crime that rocked Stone and Taney counties.
It was as gruesome as I'd ever seen.
And have seen since.
3 people brutally murdered deep in the heart of the Ozark Mountains.
He tracked this man and this family and ended up killing these people. It was over money and drugs.
The year was 1988. At the time, Jack Merritt and Tom Martin were detectives for the Missouri Highway Patrol.
It was always kind of unbelievable down here and, in the peaceful quiet of the Ozarks.
They were the lead investigators.
Many homicide investigations Tom and I were involved in
The case against Darrell Mease.
When Darrell came in from the confession he gave, he came in from quite a ways.
Darrell Mease was a man on a secret mission. According to court documents, he hid in these woods for 3 long days all by himself, watching this cabin and waiting for 69-year-old Lloyd Lawrence to come out.
Lloyd was a methamphetamine drug kingpin and a cockfighting entrepreneur in southwest Missouri, really a feared outlaw.
Author Michael Cuneo believes Darrell was terrified for his own life and had convinced himself he had no choice but to deal with Lloyd.
Darrell had set up and created a blind just the other side of the creek over there. He had cut down, we found where he'd cut down some brush and everything and created a blind to hide himself. And I think through his own admission, he was camouflaged out and his face blackened and everything.
This one moving slow,
Mease
forever
also
slow.
had a gun.
He raised the Benelli, waiting, then saw Lloyd and Frankie coming toward him, 40 yards away. Lloyd driving, looking this way and that, Frankie sitting behind him, holding onto his waist. 30 yards, 20, almost, now.
At point-blank range, Darrell shot and killed not only Lloyd, but his wife Frankie, too. They were riding ATVs.
There was just a trail of blood where their four-wheeler ended up right over in here. He walked down to them, and that's where he put the final blow into their heads. And then Willie came back, and he said he had to go ahead and shoot him because he recognized him.
Like a more or less an execution type.
Mease also killed Lloyd's grandson, Willie, a 19-year-old paraplegic.
Not only killed them, but after they were dead, he walked over there and blew their heads away with his shotgun.
Jim Justice believes Darrell had only one motive.
He wanted to make a statement, he wanted to get involved, he wanted to take over the meth.
In 1990, Darrell Mease was found guilty of murder. In 1999, Mease was to be executed, but there was a problem. It was the same day the Pope was scheduled to visit Missouri.
And specifically asked Governor Carnahan to spare the life of a convicted murderer named Darrell Mease.
Carnahan granted the Pope's request. Darrell Mease would live. Some called it a travesty, others called it a miracle. Michael Cuneo calls it Almost Midnight, an American story of murder and redemption. He's a sociology professor at Fordham University who was so engrossed by the story, he wrote a book about it.
It's a mind-boggling story, and so immediately I got into my '89 Pontiac, and I drove right down to southwest Missouri, right to Springfield, Missouri, and I started interviewing people.
Cuneo says he interviewed more than 300 people for the book, a book that is bringing the Lawrence murders back into the spotlight.
That book is not just a book, it's God's getting something done.
This is Darrell Mease today, at the age of 56, serving a life sentence without parole at the Potosi Correctional Center. You might think he's just happy to be alive, but he says he's not yet satisfied.
There's nothing more sure in the world than me walking out of here. And you're going to see it, and it's going to be real soon.
You heard it here first. Darrell Mease thinks he's getting out of prison. Why? You'll have to tune in tonight at 10 to find out. That's when Color 10's Chris Herzog will bring you part 2 of this story. Color 10 has an exclusive sit-down interview with Darrell Mease.